are talking about my favorite topic, the baby boomers. Millennials, the baby boomers are between the ages of 57 and 75, how we've discussed in prior videos. There'll be a link down below. And so since it seems to be a collective problem, because I also was raised by a baby boomer, and so I feel your pain. I understand it's not easy. So how do we talk to a baby boomer? Because let me tell you something. Sometimes talking to the baby boomers like this. Okay? And then I have to breathe, and I have to do all kinds of like exercises, and it's like an exorcist in my body when I talk to the baby boomers sometimes. So I honestly, truly, from my toes, understand the frustration. And so we're going to talk about ways. And let me tell you something. I am 46 years old, and when I tell you I probably learned this like last week, because nobody drives me more crazy than the baby boomers. They just don't. And I love them. But I mean, sometimes it's just a disconnect. So let's talk about it. Understand that they had no technology. You know this by now, okay? You understand that they don't understand how to download anything and upload anything. And like, if they do understand how to work it, you're never going to get them off whatever they understand how to work. You understand that. That being said, money moves differently. Millennials, are you aware that they used to go to work, okay, and have to drive there to pick up a paper paycheck, and then drive the paper check to the bank, stand in line, then cash it, then have the cash in hand? We didn't have ATM cards. They didn't have ATM cards. You couldn't just swipe it away. Everything is different. So take everything into perspective. They're trying to like wrap their head around how you just cash out somebody at the door, or how you just like got on your phone and pizza just came, and it's a lot. So what we have to learn to do is we have to learn to take it into perspective. You have to learn to differentiate their good advice and their old advice. Good advice, old advice. Because they never give out bad advice. They give the best advice they can for the time that they grew up in and the understanding of the current time. That being said, some of the things that they say you must take with a grain of salt. They'll want you to get a job, but is it your passion to start a business that is now way easier than it was in their time to start a business? Is it easier to go online and just start an LLC, or do you have to drive down to the city and fill out 20 forms and wait for the mail to come 8 weeks later? See, there's a big difference in time. Everything's faster in your world, millennials. It's extremely faster. That being said, we have to talk to the baby boomers slower. And we have to kind of just let them go. They don't need to be indignant. They don't need to be disrespectful, okay? They don't need to be belittling or degrading. And they need to also understand that you are in this digital world. And you're going to have to learn that there's some things that you just cannot explain to them. And you're going to have to almost keep it like your hidden treasure secret. So if you're working on a business or a YouTube channel, or you want to be a photographer, or all these things that the baby boomers, because it's not a brick or mortar, which means like a building you walk in and take the time card and go click. And you walk like the robot, the Q4, or you're like on the machine doing this like 25 times a day like they did. That's what they know to be working, but millennials like to be remote. You like to work, you can work Uber, you like to do Instacarts, you want to be on Fiverr, being independent contractors. You have all these different opportunities that you can make money effectively the same amount, but you don't have to be chained and tied to a building. So maybe it's not worth explaining all those avenues that you make it, and maybe it's better setting goals with your baby boomer. Okay, these are my goals. Instead of just get a job, what's the goal? Is the goal for you to move out of your home? Then your parents' home, your parents' basement, your parents' garage, is that the goal? Let's sit down and say, you know what? I screwed up. Throw them a bone, because you're never going to win with the old dogs. Yeah, you're right. I screwed up. Just like you got to swallow it and be like, okay, but this is my goal. I got to get out of here. Like, so I'm in your way. You're in my way. And you got to think some of these things in your head. listen, mom, dad, let's sit down and set a goal. Today is March. It's March. So I'm going to be leaving August. Can you help me to figure out my best ways? Can you help me to learn from my mistakes? What is your best advice? Just hear them out. Just hear them out. You have to do, if you want a different response from the baby boomers, you have to approach them differently. Because the screaming back and forth and trying to get them to understand, or just being frustrated or taking it so personal, the degrading things. And you know what, baby boomers? They are your parents and you need to be respectful. But if they become degrading and it becomes negative, and you gotta say, you know what, this is too negative. You know what, I can't do this right now. And they'll start screaming, I know you can't do this right now. But you know what? Take air, go outside, because it's better than arguing with them. So that is my number one tip, is to sit down, try a totally different approach, and let them spiel whatever it is they want you to do. They want you to go sign up for 5 companies and just go, okay, that's the plan of action. You got to have a plan of action with them so they feel like they're a part of it and that you're doing things. Now, if you don't want to be bothered with them, that's just well and fine, but then you need that plan to get out of their house. You do, because it is in fact their house, and if it's their house, it's their rules. So, that's all we have for today.